So, you may have noticed in Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, many players running meta decks will include fossils without the evolutionary Pokemon. So, for example, a Helix fossil without the Omanyte line. Why is this? Well, the fossil is actually an incredibly useful card, and I personally recommend you consider adding one, if not two, to your decks. So let me explain. Fossils serve two purposes, and I'm going to show you how I use them within my meta Charizard Moltres deck. But the principles here apply broadly. So, with this deck, it's absolutely crucial that your Charmander and its evolutions don't enter the battlefield until fully empowered. Ideally, the deck has Moltres as the active Pokemon with 1 energy, and Charizard enters only when he's got 4, but ideally 5 or more fire, at which point he's essentially unbeatable because he can get off his Crimson Storm attack, which will take down any Pokemon in the game, and his HP is so high that he should be able to survive pretty much any attack with some exceptions, then finish off the game next round. However, Charizard is very vulnerable before being powered up, especially in its lower evolutionary forms, so with your Moltres as an active Pokemon, it's imperative that you've got something else on the back line alongside your future Charizard in case of a Sabrina or another Pokemon switching move or card. If you draw another Moltres, sure, throw a Moltres on the back line, but in most cases, a fossil is actually a better option. Now, it's true, the fossil will go down to almost any single attack, but again, the way this deck is constructed, you can survive that, because when the Charizard enters battle, it should be able to blitz the entire enemy deck. And I know what you're probably thinking, well, if the point of the fossil is simply to buy time, why not just include any Pokemon? Maybe something with really high HP so it can soak up even more damage, allowing your Charizard to gain energy in the meantime. Well, the fossil really has 3 unique benefits. First of all, it has no retreat cost. Now, this isn't a benefit unique to the fossil, but it's still important. However, there are 2 even more important benefits. For one, a fossil is not summonable by a Pokeball. Many decks, including the Charizard Moltres deck we're seeing here, rely heavily on being able to quickly set up 2 basic Pokemon. And almost every deck is built around 1 heavy hitter. The Pokeball is important because it only targets basic Pokemon, but the fossil, despite being playable, cannot be summoned. So in my deck, the only basic Pokemon I have are my Moltres ×2 and my Charmander ×2. So at the start of the game, you're given at least 1 basic card. You've got a 2 out of 3 chance with the Pokeball to get the other one, and the math just looks good as you continue to draw cards, and if you get a second Pokeball, well, it's guaranteed. There's another pretty big benefit though, and that's the ability of the fossil to withdraw while not in active position. I'm sure this has happened to you. You get basically your perfect setup until your enemy switches your frontline Pokemon out for an injured benched Pokemon, and suddenly it's game over, even though things were looking great for you. So the fossil is nice because it adds the protection against the Sabrina card, but by the end of the game, you can discard it so simply your powerful Charizard is alive. And that's how many of my battles actually go. The Moltres holds out for as long as it can. I allow it to die. That gives the opponent 2 points and gives me no room for error. At that point, Charizard enters the battlefield. I discard the fossil, and there's basically no way for them to avoid an ultra powerful Pokemon, except with some luck and perhaps a few attacks in the game. Usually the writing is on the wall long before that, you'll get a concede, but that's the importance of fossils. Just to summarize, fossils are nice because they provide protection for vulnerable but charging Pokemon. However, they're also not summonable by Pokeballs. They can be discarded even from the bench, i.e. not in the active position, and they have no retreat cost. But those are my thoughts. Are you using fossils in your meta deck? Do you have a preferred fossil design? Doesn't really matter, but let me know your thoughts on all that and more down below, and make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon TCGP content. By the way, I thought it'd be fun if we would end each video with a pack opening. So today we're going to do the Genetic Apex Pikachu because that's where I'm missing the most cards, put simply. So we'll go ahead. I will use those timers. I'm generally trying to save my timers until the new packs are released, which I think we're getting a mini pack in December and then a full booster in January, but for now. All right. I think the Nidorina is actually new for me, but Not a lot there. But no, Nidorino wasn't new. See you guys next time.